60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, 64% have less than $400 in a savings account, and the median US savings account has less than $5,300. In this video, I'm going to share what to do with your savings if you've got $100, $500, $2,500, or $5,000. And stick around, I'm going to share one of the strategies that helped me on my path to financial success and actually helped pay for the Porsche that I drive now. In this video, I'm going to share what I would do with these specific amounts if I were starting today. And one of the most important things is to have that self-awareness of knowing, okay, what's your current situation and what are your goals for the future? That's going to have a big impact of what you decide to do with your savings and how you invest them. And as we go through these different savings amounts, I'm going to split it up into two buckets. One is what you should invest into yourself and what you should invest into an actual investment, like whether it's the stock market or real estate. And the reason that you want to invest in yourself first is because that's where you're going to get the highest return. Let's say you invest in the stock market, you might get 8 to 10% return per year. But if you've got a small amount, let's say $1,000, 8% is only like $80. But if you're able to invest in yourself, you could get much higher rates of return. Like let's say, as we go through this, we'll talk about some of the things you can invest in, but let's say one thing that you invest in gets you a $10,000 raise at work. If you're making $50,000, now you're making $60,000, that's a 20% growth. That's gonna be really hard to get in the stock market, especially in 1 year. And the best part is that investing in yourself will actually give you more money to invest into things like the stock market and real estate in the future. And that's the goal, to increase the velocity of your money. You invest in yourself, you then have more money that you can invest, and then that gets invested into real estate or the stock market. All right, so let's dig into it. So if you had saved $100 and you were looking to invest into something, the first thing that I would do is invest in yourself only. Like, don't worry about putting any money into like real estate or stock market, especially if you've only got $100. And the best investment you can make is an investment in yourself in the form of books. And that is to invest in books that are going to increase your financial knowledge. And some of my favorite books are The Pillars of Wealth, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and The Psychology of Money. I'll link to all of those below and you can check them out. Okay, so what if you've got $500 saved up? Now, if you've got $500, the first thing I would do is look for ways that you can increase that amount right away. So that might be investing in a course or maybe into a side hustle. So one thing that you could start is maybe you start a Rover account and you start dog sitting or dog walking. Maybe you put some of that $500 into an investment, whether it's taking some professional photos for your Rover profile, or maybe it's buying some dog treats that will create a more positive experience for when you are dog sitting and get more glowing reviews so that you can get more clients and make more money. That's where I would start. And then if you're looking to invest into the stock market or real estate, $500 isn't going to be enough to get started in real estate, but you could start in the stock market, and I would probably buy one share of the SPY, which is the S&P 500, which is an ETF and is great to really get that portfolio that you want to build and get it started. Okay, so what if you've got $1,000 saved? So my advice here is going to be very similar to what I would do if I had $500. Invest in yourself into a side hustle, something like Rover. But if you've got $1,000, you might be able to invest in something that's a little bit more expensive. Like for example, let's say you want to start a lawn mowing business or side hustle, or if you want to start, let's say, car detailing, maybe you need a little bit more startup capital. Maybe you spend $300 or $400 of that money into equipment that you would need for that car detailing business. And then the rest I would put into an ETF, into the stock market. And the way I would look at it is you want to invest in something that you can start to make $100 a month and then grow from there. Then it becomes $200 and maybe $300 a month. And you're able to put that into savings so that you can make bigger investments down the road, especially ones that I'm going to talk about once we hit that $5,000 amount. Okay, so what if you've got $2,500 saved? So this is where it gets a little bit more nuanced. So if you've got that side hustle already started, I would continue to invest some money into that. So let's take that example of the car detailing business. So maybe if you got that started, maybe you want to continue growing it. So I would take some of those savings and put it into, like, let's say a website or social media marketing, different ways that you can grow that business. Another aspect I would look at is if you've got a W-2 income and you're working in a position where you're getting paid hourly or you have a salary job, look at taking, maybe there's a course that you can take where you can get certified, where it will help you get that promotion at work. So for example, maybe there's a course that you take that costs like $1,000 and it gets you certified for a specific thing that you do at work, and now you go from maybe your job title changes slightly, but your responsibilities are probably going to stay mostly the same. The only difference is now that you'll be certified and you're able to command a higher salary. So you might be able to go from making $50,000 a year to $60,000 a year. And that's just from taking that one course. And that's something that's pretty common in a lot of fields, like for example, accounting or healthcare. Especially in accounting, you could be like, let's say, a bookkeeper, but then you take a few courses and now you can command a much higher salary. The other things I would look at is maybe you're in a side hustle that you want to turn into your full-time job. So let's say maybe you do photography and you'd like to turn photography from a side hustle to your main thing. Maybe that's where you invest in like a photography course. Or maybe if you're interested in real estate, you take a real estate course or you get your license. That's something that you can do with $2,500, and that'll make a really positive impact long term. And then out of that $2,500, I would put a little bit into the stock market. The key is that as you're saving money, you want to build those habits of putting money aside, putting money into investments, because those money skills and habits are going to be essential for your long-term success. All right, so now what do you do if you've got $5,000 saved up? Now this is where things get really exciting because you can start making bigger investments. So one thing that you could start looking at is, okay, you've got $5,000 saved. How can you continue to grow this money? One of the things that you could look at is a house hack. And there's actually a lot of programs out there, depending on your income level and the average house price of where you live. You could actually qualify for a 0% down home if you live in it. And so you've got 0% down, and then house hack it so that maybe you've got a tenant or you rent out like a couple of rooms in the house so that you're subsidizing your cost of living. And now you get into a space where you might be able to live for free or very cheap. And the best part is your cost of living is down, but now you have an asset, you have this home that's going to increase in value over time. And even though it's 0% down, you're thinking, okay, I could have done this when I've got $100, but no, you probably need some money for closing costs, renovations, and as you're moving in, you're gonna want to have some savings for the first few months of, let's say, a mortgage payment, or before you've got tenants that are living with you that will help subsidize those mortgage costs. So you've probably got to have at least 1 to 3 months of runway if you're going to do this strategy. And again, if you've got $5,000, I'd put some of that into the stock market as well. And also check out this video here where I share how to save $10,000 in the course of 12 months. I think this will really be helpful, because imagine you've got $5,000 saved already, you use these strategies to save another $10,000, and then that's going to really supercharge your savings rate, because now you've got money set aside for emergencies, you've got money set aside for this house, you've got money set aside into the stock market as well. Maybe start with $100 a month that you set aside. These are all going to compound and really help grow that wealth. And now getting back to how I paid for my Porsche, so when I had $5,000, that really motivated me to save more. Unfortunately, where I lived, I didn't have that 0% down program, so I needed a little bit more than $5,000 saved up. But because I had that $5,000, it really motivated me to save more. And then eventually I had enough for that down payment, put it into the house. And since then, I was able to refinance, put money into the stock, put a significant amount into the stock market, put money into house flipping, and take some of those proceeds from that original house into paying for the car that I have now. And I think having like that nice car now is really motivation to really continue growing, to continue building this financial pyramid. All right, and then getting back to that house hack. Now let's say you've got this money saved, you live in the property, and after 12 months you're able to move out and you're able to get another house hack. Imagine you do this every year, and in a few years you'll have a mini real estate empire that is just going to continue to compound and create enormous wealth for you. It's actually one of the best strategies out there if you're looking to get into real estate and want it to really help supplement your life. Now, as we talk about all these options of what to do with savings, if you've got $100, if you got $5,000, the most important thing to remember is that making and saving money is a skill. And where most people get sabotaged is they save up a significant amount, but it's not enough to, like, let's say, really get into a house hack or make significant investments. Like, let's say you get to $4,000 in savings, but you need to get to $5,000 to really be able to afford this house hack comfortably. Most people, what they'll do is they'll have the $4,000, but they'll sabotage themselves and put it into either spend it on something, go on a vacation, or or they'll invest it into the stock market instead of sticking to their goals of getting into home ownership. So I think that's like an important skill to have, not only about making money, but also about saving money. Like having that discipline to get to your savings goals and sticking to them. That's going to be essential, and that's why investing in yourself is so important, because it allows you to do that. Now, if you've enjoyed this video and you're looking for more ways to save money or make money, then definitely check out some of these videos next.